Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining with us today for the upcoming or the launch of the HubeX, the client portal for collaborations with you as accountants. Many of you are already aware that we have been working hard over the past few years to be able to get to where we are today and be ready to move forward with with the exciting new platform. This release of HubeX in this financial year or for the 2022 tax time will focus on the individual tax returns, which we will demonstrate the look and the feel and how it works shortly. And in the next 12 months, we aim to expand the services by means of integration with other tax, payroll, accounting, financial services, software, and other related services for the benefits of users and their advisors. We are well aware of the current economic difficulties and the changes in environment, regulatory, or political landscape present within our sector, and this will mean that we need to get extra creative and aggressive in ways that we build and design our platform, along with the marketing ideas to support our users. Tough times are for us to get tougher and not to use the current climate as the negative block, but rather an energizing springboard for new ideas with new platform service. We will shortly demonstrate what the fuss is about on HubeX. And before that, can I get a raise of hands if you can hear me and see the screen what we are sharing? Can anyone see us? Can you hear me? Okay, thanks, Brian. Thanks a bit. Okay, thanks, Christina. Great. We are recording the sessions and we'll be posting on our website for you to revisit at your convenience, and for those who can't make it for the webinar today. If you have questions during the sessions, please send it through to us and we will cover during the question time. Another thing too, presenting today's webinar and the platform demonstration was supposed to be Jason McGilray, who has been preparing for today, but unfortunately on the last minute, Jason has caught the flu. So his voice and enthusiasm on the subject might not be as upbeat. Myself and Sandeep will be assisting with the demo, so please be kind with our unexpected disorientations. I will now pass it on to Jason, who has been very kind to us to walk through the features and what we can expect from HubeX, even though he is not at his best. Over to you, Jason.
Thanks, Tiana. Hi, everyone. Hope you're doing well and you've had a great day. Tax time is hectic. It's flat out. It's busy. And what you want is a tax platform that will save you time and your clients will love. HubeX is a single platform for accountants to collaborate with their clients on their tax affairs. It's delivering both a new revenue source for you and a better outcome for your clients. With 5 weeks to go until the end of the financial year, now's the time to consider your software solutions and the processes you will use to prepare and lodge tax returns. This tax season, HubeX is an option you should consider. These 4 items down the bottom half of the screen are what we call the hallmarks of HubeX. So collaboration makes compliance easier. It saves time and improves efficiency. It eliminates uncertainty and builds confidence. And you have a better relationship with your clients through active participation. And I'll just talk further about the first 2 items there. So collaboration makes compliance easier. As you all know, the tax return jobs can be prepared faster when you have ready access to source documents. And HubeX gives you that opportunity to do that. And better still, HubeX is a cloud platform, so you can access the data anywhere, anytime you have internet access. HubeX saves you time and improves your efficiency. So basically, we looked at the process of preparing a tax return, and we've streamlined those processes. And so the client could play an active part in the return preparation process. So meet HubeX. So HubeX is a lot of different things. But at the core, at the heart of it, is a simple tax platform. Also, alongside that, there's tax calculators. There's a mapping functionality. It encourages client collaboration. Basically, you have your own platform where you have your own dashboard, and you can see the status of your jobs and of your work. You've got pre-filling from the ATO and HubeX. There's also what we call conversation starters. So as well as the tax module or the tax aspect of the app, we've also built in 3 other different modules. So there's the bank feeds. There's an assets and liability picture that we paint, and also there's a goals, so financial planning type functionality and features of the platform. And finally, HubeX are big on security, and so 2 of the things that we is inbuilt digital ID verification and TFN verification also. So get the HubeX advantage. So what we're going to look at in the next short bit of time is what's in it for you and what's in it for your clients. But with HubeX, there's absolutely no setup, no registration, or no monthly fees. So there's no ongoing commitment. The only fee that you pay is a service fee for each tax return job that you process through the system. And there's no sign-up fee for your clients either. So the fee they pay is for the preparation of their tax return. So as I said before, it's a new revenue source for you, and we're actively marketing the product to the greater public to bring in more clients onto the platform. In saying that, we actually encourage you to talk to your clients, your current client base, about joining the platform and then using it during tax time this year. It's cloud technology, so you can access it anywhere, anytime. You have internet connection, and it reduces admin time. So, as I said before, we've looked at the process of doing a tax return, and we're streamlining that process as best that we think you could possibly do. All the clients' source documents are stored in one single place, either on Google Drive or Dropbox. And so we're streamlining that flow. And as Chandler just mentioned before, that yeah, beyond what we're offering at the moment in terms of the platform itself, there's getting many other aspects to the HubeX down the track, version 2.0 and moving forward, and that will include yeah, partner deals and opportunities that will benefit you.
Just before you move on to the next slide, Jason, I noticed that you mentioned there are no setup, no registration or monthly fees. It is initially exclusively offered for the GovReport tax agent, but moving forward, for those that are using along with other tax software, we're also looking at integrations with them along the way. So watch the space.
Thanks, Tiana. So what's in it for your clients? So basically, we've looked at the process of preparing a tax return and what your clients, the sorts of things that they think about when they're doing the tax. And we've come up with an app which we think is pretty cool. And basically, it's in plain English. So it minus the tax jargon. It's something that they can easily follow and understand. Yeah, work their way through it as best as they can. Your clients through HubeX, they play a more active part in the tax return preparation process. And what I mean by that is that yeah, they will actually feel empowered around their finances, as they would they'll develop a greater understanding of the sorts of things that they can claim as deductions, and the sorts of documents they would need to provide to you as part of the process. And the final thing is that it's a safe and secure place for your clients to store their tax documents this year, and then leave them there for 12 months, and then come back to them this, you know, in a year's time. So they don't have to worry about where their tax documents are each year moving forward. It's all saved in a central location, all safe and secure. So Sandeep will go through the demo shortly of how HubeX works and the process. But what I think I've done here is, I suppose, diagrammatically, or visualize that process. So basically, how it works is that you go onto the platform, you would register, and you do what we call you publish your details. So basically, you put in all your business particulars, and then also your I suppose what you call your marketing spiel about your firm and what you offer, what you specialize in, etc., etc. And then once all that's published, then that's available for clients to or taxpayers to look at. That's the part that's available to the public. Then you would receive a lead. You get notification of that. Then you would engage the client as part of that process. Now, once the client is you've got all the client data, then you would export that data from HubeX into GovReports. In GovReports, you prepare the tax return, the full tax return, then you'll lodge a return, then get paid shortly after.
For those of you that have your clients onto the HubeX, when the clients register, I think maybe I jumped in too early, maybe Jason. If they have you, they already know that they have you as the tax agent, they can engage you in the first place, and then you just receive the leads as they submit their tax return to you.
Thanks, Deanna.
Okay.
So on the HubeX platform, we have fixed fees for particular types of tax returns. So should I say that for all individual tax returns, but for a tax return that might involve different labels or different calculations. So this is just a sample of the fixed fees. So our base fee is $79 for an individual tax return. So it's a basic tax return. With the PAYG income, bit of interest, a few dividends, and then some deductions. So that's for a basic tax return. So then on top of that, if your client was a sole trader and so they had business income that you had to input into the software, and then you'd also on top of that obviously review and reconcile the accounts, etc. The fee for that is an additional $99. And then similarly, if your client had investment properties, the extra fee for that, the additional fee for that is $99. So and so on and so forth. So there's additional fees for obviously capital gains, if they're share traders, and so on and so forth.
There is a question, Jason, maybe perhaps we will cover this at this time as well, from Taryn. Once we register, the question is, once we register as a service provider and a new lead comes through, how do clients choose which tax agent they should go to? Also, is the fees listed on the site for the clients, or we can charge based on our internal fees? Do you want to cover that, or I can answer that?
I'll let you answer that if that's all right.
Okay, I'll answer the first part of the question. So when the leads come through, if the client already have the tax agent, they can invite the tax agents onto HubeX and provide them the service for them to provide the service. But otherwise, if they don't have a tax agent, they can select the tax agents that are published in HubeX, available for them to, that are available to do the service for them. So they could choose you. That's why we're asking you to register and publish your details, and so that the clients can choose which like the advisors or the accountant that can provide them the service. And the third thing is, you asked about the fees. Also, the fees listed on the site for the clients, can we also charge our internal fees? This is the standard fees that we charge. But having said that, if you in the initial versions, we only had the standard fees, but over time, we are going to add in about enable you to, if there is an additional fees that you want to charge the clients, you need to get the client's approval. Once the clients approve that, then the additional fee will be charged accordingly, can be adjusted.
Thanks, Tiana. So what we'd like you to do, and hopefully we can highlight the benefits of that in the next hour or so, is it to make HubeX home for you this tax time. So one of those ways is to actually ask your clients to jump on board and sign up, and then they can prepare the tax return. They can, I guess, they start that tax preparation process by them preparing the tax return themselves, and then you jump in, and then they share their details with you. So yeah, so as I said, there's no joining fees, no registration fees for your clients or for yourself. And it's an easy setup for both you and your clients. As I said, for yourself, it's just a case of registering and publishing your details. And for your clients, again, it's just a case of registering and then starting to work through the tax form that is on the app. As I said, we've tried to simplify it as much as possible so that it's easy to read and understand, minus the tax jargon. So what do you need to register on this on HubeX? So essentially two things. So you need obviously a valid tax agent number and a current PI insurance. So this version that is available now is a beta version, and so we'd appreciate your feedback, any sort of feedback that you have, as we look to establish and grow the product, grow the app, and grow its popularity, and delivering benefits to tax agents and clients.
As I mentioned, sorry,
sorry.
Jason. As I mentioned before, HubeX at the moment is a work in progress for us as we look to integrate and bring in more features and artificial intelligence features, so that it make it easier for both you and your clients. So as Jason mentioned, your feedback would very much be welcome.
Thanks, Tiana. And the final thing I'd just like to, I suppose, say, just in wrapping up, is that we are actually actively marketing the platform to the wider public. So it's on the platform. We actually what we see is your clients be on the platform, but as well as people from who are not your clients, people from the general public registering, and then looking for an accountant, a great accountant like yourself, to help them out with their tax affairs. And I guess that's one of our goals, is to make that process a lot easier, a lot simpler, more enjoyable, if that's possible. So okay. So I think I'll just wrap up there, Tiana.
All right, what I'll do now is I'll transfer the presentations over to Sandeep, who will be doing the demo, the live demo, and just walk you through the process from what the clients will see, or what to expect, and what it looks like, and from the tax agent's point of view, what you need to do, or what you can see from your site as well. Okay, over to you, Sandeep.
Thanks, Tiana. Thanks, Jason. So let me just walk you through the live demo on the application. So before that, let's start from the website. This is our new website, which we have already released on the production we have deployed. So over here, we have the login and the sign up screen. So let me start from the sign up first. So at the moment, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to show in the real time how it's going to work with the client side. This is on the client side, taxpayer side. So I'm just registering as a taxpayer and going to create an account, do all the whatever the features available on the HubeX. I'm going to use that and preparing the tax return and submitting to the tax agent. Let me show you that now. So let me go with, I'm going to use Tiana's name now.
Thank you.
That's going to be their username. So which they
You got a comma. You got a comma instead of a dot.
Sorry, Tia. I mean, either they can give their personal information or they can use their Google account for the registration. So in case if they have a Gmail account like sandeep@gmail.com, so it can be used for their registration, and ongoing they can use their same Gmail account for their login as well. So let's finish off this data entry for now. And obviously everyone has to agree to the terms. So before they just sign up with HubeX. Finish creating an account. And once after the sign up, we will be ensuring that, I mean, this is for the security purpose. We will be ensuring their email address, contact details, and their whatever the information the taxpayer provide to the HubeX, it will be verified. So for in the first step, we are verifying the client's email address. Tiana, can you share me the code which has been sent to your email address?
Just give me 1 moment. Okay, the code is 647098.
Thank you. Just verifying the email address first. Okay, excellent. So this is going to be the first initial page where the client will be landed. So it means that it gives each and every features, what are the features available in the HubeX, and whenever the new feature has been added, it will be included in this page. This is not the dashboard.
I'll just hold you back right there, Sandeep. As you can see, the dashboard, there is financial planning going forward. There is budgeting tools and other services along the way. Like I said, at this stage, tax return is available. Other features are progressively will be fully functional. At the moment, they are functional, but not to the point that we are happy with. But tax return is fully functional. Okay, back to you.
So now just let me go through from the menu what we have. That's a planned wealth. So this is like an asset and liabilities, which the management, they can go and do that. I'll just get into the deep one by one. And then tax returns, obviously they every year. So we start from the year 2020, the tax payers can prepare their tax return and submit to the tax agents for review and do the lodgement. Grow money, so where they can manage their all the bank transactions, and the bank transactions can be included for their tax purpose. I mean, I'll take you into that in the next level when we are going into the importing the bank statements. DOI divination, so this is like the goals. I can set my financial goals and objectives, and I can have a track as well, and automatic tracking is also available. So whenever the amount comes into the particular bank account, so automatically the job will be, I mean, like the goals will be updated. And we have the calculators, which so at the moment we have included for the simple tax returns. So it's a tax return savings, simple tax returns and the tax estimator calculators that we have available for our taxpayer clients. First thing, let me just go into the dashboard. And the dashboard, so we show their cash flow and the wealth, whatever the features. I mean, when it comes to the financial and budgeting features, all features will be included here. So at this stage, there is no records available. That's why we are just asking the users to go and we just guide them how to do that. Coming to the planned wealth. So where the taxpayer can manage their wealth, like they can add their bank accounts, cash assets, investments, vehicle, property, and liabilities and loan details, which they can track every day. They can get into that and they can view all the details here. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add a bank account. So that's why, I mean, only when I add a bank account, I can do the bank import. So let me just start from here. That's going to be a CBA account. Just giving us a Tiana CBA. Just going to add separate account with a zero balance. Okay, so whenever we add an asset, so all the assets can be, I mean, the transaction, the net worth will be updated based on the assets and liabilities. So we have already added a bank account, which you can see over here under the banks. So with the amount 0. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do the import and see that. The reason that I'm going to the import is that how those the transactions can be used for the tax return purposes. So where we have a feature on the transactions where they can add manual entry or they can do the import. Obviously, I know that. So the taxpayer will go and do the import. That's going to be the very simple one. Most of the financial institution has the facility to import in the CSV format. I'm just going to use one of the CSV file format to do the import. I'm going to select the business which, the bank which I've created just now. And I'm going to do an import of a CSV file, which I've just downloaded today. So most of the financial statements, I mean, institutions, they are allowed to do and download for last 2 years, which I've just used for only 1 year at the moment from the current financial year. So automatically these mapping columns will be automatically applied based on the bank selections. So the clients don't want to do that. So if in case if they want to do any mapping, they can go and add an additional mapping as well. Otherwise, automatically the mappings will be done. So this is for just like simplifying the user's process, which they can easily import their bank statements. So over here, so once all the records has been before importing the data, we want the users to verify or to categorize the transactions for their needs. So at the moment, if you could see that there is no categorization has been added. So let me show you how a rule can be added for the users so that it automatically goes that. So for example, this is from the Aldi store. I'm just going to add a rule. This is going to be like food with the contents of Aldi. Then obviously I'll just go for groceries. Groceries, what will happen is that whatever the description available under the name of Aldi will be categorized as groceries. And ongoing, what we are trying to achieve is that, so we are going to make more intelligence, apply more intelligence where, so automatic mapping will be applied on the subcategories. Now I'm just going to import all the transactions. So which shows that all the 600 transactions has been imported with the categorizations. And when I click on the import, that's quick. So where all the transaction has been imported, and where you can see one of the column called tax. That's the reason that we have implemented these transactions. So they can manage their deductions. So they can, whatever the transaction they paid from their own bank account can be included to the deductions. In case if they have received any rental income to their bank account, it can be categorized to the tax. So rental property income. Let me just show you one of applying how we can apply this to the tax. Over here, when they click on the tax, this amount, so which as a tax group, they need to declare what tax group it goes for. So we show all the tax deduction areas. So whether it is a D from D1 to D15. So I'm just going to categorize this. So I mean, like computer access, and then we show the percentage, how much percentage of amount has been used for work-related purpose. So now when it has been saved, so on the transaction, it can be, we are showing it as a D5 column. So it is already included for the D5. When we prepare the tax return, so this amount will be automatically pre-filled on the deductions for the taxpayer. And so now I just imported all my transactions, which shows the total income from the transaction, what I have imported, and total expenses, and what is the net amount at the moment on the bank account. So over here, so which they can include multiple banks, multiple bank accounts, and do the multiple import for a taxpayer. And each and every page on the HubeX will, on the left hand side, we have filter facilities where the clients can go and filter and export the records whenever they need it. And when it goes to the plan wealth, now you can see that based on the transactions, when I do the client import, it shows the taxpayer what is the total asset and the net worth at the moment on their bank account. So likewise, when they add more asset or more liability details, they can see the current net worth of the taxpayer. Coming to the tax return now, so which is as Jason mentioned, that it's a simplified tax return. So for a taxpayer to complete it, and once the taxpayer fill all the tax return details and submit to the tax agent can verify and take it to the GovReports for the lodgement. So in the first place, when the taxpayer comes into the tax return screen, we just give them a calculator, how they need to do what can be their tax estimate. So once they can do that, so over here we show that based on the financial year, as I already mentioned, that we are supporting from 2020 to 2022 to the current financial year. So they can include, and if they want to include any advance details for for the tax calculations, they can do that. So now I'm just going to show that how I'm going to do the pre-fill. So this is the main feature where there is, for the taxpayer who can do the direct pre-fill from the ATO. I'm just going to tell that with the tax agent review via HubeX, I'm just going to use this option. I'm going to choose the 2021. Obviously, the 2022 is not ready on the ATO side. I'm going to use the 2021 for the financial year for the demo purpose. So there are two options when it comes to the preparing the tax return. So we give them options for the clients for two options for the clients. So like whether they want to do the pre-fill the details from ATO and prepare the tax return, or manually do the entry without the pre-fill. So the main difference between these two options is that, so HubeX will as I already mentioned, that it always verify the client information before, we do the verification, we do the digital ID verification, and then we connect with the tax agent. So if they're preparing the tax return without the pre-fill, so at the end of the tax return submissions, we do the verification. Now I'm just going to show you how it's going to work on the ATO pre-fill. I'm just going to proceed on the first option. First thing, we verify the TFN. So the TFN, so this validation check will be happened with the ATO before they prepare the tax return. The first name, last name, date of birth will be pre-filled based on the sign up information that we already available. Just going to fill up the Address details. So that's now where I'm just going to verify the TFN. If in case if the taxpayer is providing a wrong information, so we will be just putting hold at this stage, and then they can't prepare any tax returns. So this is obviously, as all the tax agent, you may aware of that ATO is saying that know your clients. So that's the main purpose we are doing that. So we are verifying the clients before submitting the tax return. So now at the moment, so we have verified the TFN. Now we are going to verify their ID. Their ID. This is going to be a digital ID verification, which we are connecting to the Australia Post to do that. So
It's as part of the online services. ATO required for service provider to verify their client's ID, and this is the reasons that we do. One is the tax file number verifications to ensure that the right the client is using the correct tax file number. Then we also need to do the ID digital ID verification, and this service is provided by Australia Post, which we engage as part of our service. Cool.
Next year. So for digital ID verification, the taxpayer has to pay a $5. We charge them $5 so to verify their digital ID. So the ID verification. Now I'm just going to do a purchase first before they they need to purchase the ID. I have a promotion code, so where I'm just going to use this for a demo purpose. Excellent. Hit applied. Once they pay for the digital ID, automatically it takes them to the next screen where they can just complete the digital ID verification. I'm just going to, at the moment, if they already paid for the digital ID, they can see an option called verify with the digital ID, which will be redirecting to the Australia Post to verify. So I'm just, if they have already have a digital ID, they can just use a connect option, or so they can use a new to digital ID. So which will ask them, we want at least one document to be verified. So I'm just going to use the Australian driving license at the moment. And the address is required. So they need to provide the address, the address given on the driving license. Yeah, I got this address. When they click next, it will ask the taxpayer to verify the information what they have provided. In case if they want to verify, they can just change or edit. They can, in case if they have entered wrong details, they can do that. And once they click on the submit, so it has been verified, which shows the success, and now it is allow us to, they need to click on the allow to complete the digital ID verification. So once after a successful verification, so we show that what is the details given on the registration and what the details given on the verification, which shows here the verified and matched. So in case if it is not matching, what we will do is we want the clients to override the digital ID verification, what we have verified, to be updated on the contact information. So at this stage, this one is verified and good to go. So I'm just going to click on continue. So now, so we're doing the pre-fill from the ATO, so which we want the taxpayer to give a declaration that they want to do a pre-fill, so which will be added under the TAN or the Impact Management Group TAN for the ATO pre-fill. So once they complete the declaration, sorry, Tiana, you're on mute.
As well. Like I said, if your clients, because Sendip has chosen myself and as a client, and therefore I think at this stage you got to remember too, if the client choose you as a tax agent, then you already on their tax agents portal, and the pre-filling is basically just the message will basically saying that this is your tax agent, you know, like if you have chosen this tax agent, would you go ahead with the pre-filling under this tax agent number. And that's if they don't have a tax agent, then it's basically back to the software provider to provide the pre-filling. It's only for the pre-filling, and then off that, after they have selected you as a tax agent, afterward to provide the service, then it will basically add it on to your tax agent.
Yeah, just going to do the pre-fill now. So once I click on the proceed, so automatically the system will go and do the pre-fill and takes me to the tax return screen. So it shows the progressing screen on the bar on the top. So just waiting for that. Excellent. Now it has been created. So based on the pre-fill information, if you could see that the salary and wages and the gross interest has been already selected, and the data has been pre-filled from the ATO. So, and also the taxpayer can see what is the tax estimate on the top, and what based on the details provided. And so over here you can see the extract from grow money. So in case if I just choose this option, the data will be automatically extracted from the my money, grow money, and it will be filled on the deductions or the income sections based on the tax categorized. So that has been done. And if the taxpayer has the rental property, when they choose the rental property, and they can go and add multiple rental properties. And based on the details, if you could see on the left hand side, the tax return cost, it's instantly we are showing what is going to be the cost for this tax return to prepare. So based on now at the moment, it's not a simple tax return, which is a tax return including the rental property, and if they have added multiple rental property, based on the information provided, the tax return cost may vary. So over here they can add all the rental property details. For now I'm just going to add one of the rental property. And address details, address details are required to add for this one. So it's going to be similar to the rental property details what we have in the tax agents tax returns, but in the simplified way. So where they can include the income and expenses. So each they can add the expenses, like what type of expenses. So for example, for cleaning, if they've just spent like $400 for cleaning, so it will be based on the transactions income and the rental property. So if you have got $25,000, yeah, so that could be included around the tax return. So this one, so based on the rental property details what they've provided, so when it is converted to the tax return on the GovReports, it will be automatically a schedule will be generated, and the details will be available on the rental property section. Just going to save this. Likewise, so when the deduction sections, when it comes to the deduction sections, so you can just include the car expense. The user needs to tick the boxes, whatever the expenses they have, the deductions they can select, and they can go and enter the details. And each sections will have a receipt details where the clients need to update the receipt in case if the tax agents wants to verify that, as you've seen that attachments. So each section will have a button called attached receipt. As Jason already mentioned that we have integrated with the Google Drive, and we are going to integrate with the other providers as well. At the moment, like Google Drive, Dropbox, and OneDrive has been attached. So, but the client needs to do the setup. So we don't store the records on our side. So which will be stored on the external document management, and it can be shared with the tax agent directly. To do that, so whenever they click on the attach receipt, they need to go and enable that before just attaching any documents. That's one way. And then at the moment, I'm not going to attach any documents, which I need to do the settings. So once the tax return has been prepared based on the information what they have, they can just go and complete the declaration. And submit the tax return. So like there are two types of submissions. Once they can just submit to the default providers or find an agent. So default provider is that the tax agents who are partnered with HubeX, and they can be a default providers when the default provider has been chosen. So the request will be sent to all the tax agents who are applied for the default providers, and it's a first in first go. So whoever picks first, that return will be go to the particular tax agents to do that. So find a tax agents, it means that there are a lot more other tax agents who register with HubeX. They can be listed their business in HubeX, which the taxpayer can go and verify at the moment. So before we release, we got one of the tax agent who already registered and published his business. So which you can see that on my screen now. So when I select as a find an agent, so like it goes to the list of agents. At the moment, there is only one agent. In case if the taxpayer wants to invite his own tax agent, on the left hand side there is an option where invite agent. So like when they click on invite agent, they can send an email to the agent to come up and sign up with GovReports and receive the tax returns for preparing. And so for more details about this tax return business, they can click on the view, and which shows all the details about the client tax agent details on the left hand side, and then what services they provide, descriptions and the availability, which the tax agents has to set up before before they publish their business for listing. And the rating and review. So like whenever service has been completed, the taxpayer can complete the rating, and also the tax agent also complete the rating for for the taxpayer. It means that on the dual side, so the rating will be applied. So when it comes to the service provider like a tax agent, the rating is very important. Based on the rating, your listing will be on the top. And the package details, which is by default, it has been included. So that's the details when they publish their business. So now at the moment, I'm not going to choose this one. I'm just going to submit this tax return as a default provider. No, I'm not going to submit that. This is going to be a real-time one. I'm not going to submit this. I'll be showing on the other side. So with an other tax agent account, so how a tax return has been submitted, how the tax agents has to proceed with the tax return. And so next one, I've just told you about the goals. So with the goal settings, so like they can set up the goals and on settings. So for example, let me just go and set up a new quick goal. Target the date. I need to choose the date. It's going to be 31st of 12, 2023. Initial contribution is going to, they need to set up the initial contribution with once the goal has been saved, so like they can see the projection of the goal, how the amount should be saved. And as I mentioned earlier, like a contribution method, manual contribution or automatic contribution. When they select the automatic, if they select any bank account, so this bank account, whenever the amount comes in, like a percentage wise, that this contribution will be automatically shown on the goal projection. Okay, so I'm not going to do that now. So we are running out of time. I'm just moving on to the tax agent side. So how the tax agent can view the account. So being a tax agent, first way to publish your business, you have to register as an individual first, and on the top you can see the become a provider. So when it comes to the become a provider, when you click on the become a provider, you need to enter your ABN, the business ABN, business name and the type, and next we're going further. So we'll collect all more details. So let me just bring up one of the account. This is one of the tax agent's account. So the dashboard. So once they I'll show you that. So when it comes to the if you added your business, this is like an individual account. So on the top right corner, you can see the individual where it shows the switch to business. If the tax agent or a service provider switch to business, so the screen will be totally changed where they can see their business details into that. So the menus will be different for the tax agents, like a dashboard, my services, service request, my jobs, and earnings, what their earnings, and the ratings and reviews. So when it comes to the my services, so like a tax agent can add, a business, they can add a service provider can add multiple businesses. Out of multiple businesses, they can add multiple services. For example, a tax agent service. So now at the moment we have released the services for tax returns, individual tax returns. They can just go and add a service for individual tax returns. In the future, if we add we release the product for a company business tax return, company tax returns, that they can publish in another service for the company tax return as well. So let me show you that. So in this case, in this particular tax agent service provider accounts, which they have added 3 different businesses with 3 services, which 2 services are showing unpublished, then one of the services showed published. Only published services can be listed for the tax payer, like the individual's account, to find an agent and submit a tax return. To publish an account, so obviously we will be doing, when it comes to the individual, we are doing the digital ID verification. When it comes to the business, we go a step forward and we do, like a digital ID and all the other details verifications, which is happening on our payment gateway side. For example, if you go to the connect, we'll be taking you to our Stripe payment account. So our Stripe payment account will request for more details. At the moment, I'm just going to show you that this is one of the test account. So this will be the more business. No, sorry. I already have an account with the Stripe. That's why it directly take me to a different account. So like the publish, they need to give all the business details, business director details, and then the insurance details. Everything need to be included on the Stripe payment gateway. So once that has been provided, that's called the onboarding details, which we want to ensure that the tax agent has all the details, informations secured and verified. So this is for ensuring that individual sites, we are telling that the taxpayer, service providers who comes into HubeX are already verified. So just I'm going to show that. So add business. So add services. So what are the services? What are the details that you need to keep ready before adding a business service? So now I'm just going to choose the business which I've already added. This is at the moment that only the tax is available. Taxation is available. As Tiana mentioned, going forward, budgeting, financial, estate planning, so all the services when it comes in. So we will be showing the types of services there. So individual, it's already listed. I may need to choose. Okay, I'll just go and edit one of them so that it can show you that. Wow, edit listing. So first thing, so like whenever the service has been added, like a title and the description. So what service that you provide. So and then your business descriptions can be included on this screen. and the keywords, very important. So these keywords are used for the clients for searching purpose. For example, if a client comes in and search for a ITR, individual tax return. So based on these keywords, we will be showing the business listing to them. And the business information already comes in, and then the logo details need to be updated. Very important thing is that the TAN. So we verify the TAN here. So when in the previous screen it has been selected as an individual tax return, so we will be verifying the tax agents has the valid TAN number to publish their business. And the pricing details. So this is for the default providers, which the pricing has been already set by the HubeX. So when then a default provider comes in as a providing the tax agent tax return service, they need to agree to this pricing for publishing their business. And availability message, which the tax agent can say that, so their availability, for example, if they are available from Monday to Friday, they can include, or some of the tax agents, they do that only on the weekends, they can include the weekend details, the availability message. And auto send message, whenever a new customer send a message to a service provider, you can set up your auto send message to the customers. So now I'm just going to show that. So what happens, the request at the moment. So when a taxpayer send a request to a tax agent, it will come under the engagement process in the first place. So like, so over here, there are four requests, which the engagement has been come, and then the tax agent can view and see who's the taxpayer details, like for what request has been come from the client and what's the client's name and when it is requested on. So if they've accepted the request, and then they can, the taxpayer can interact with the tax agents for any other business advice or tax advice to go further from there. And let me show you the default services. So this is one of the tax return which has been submitted to particularly find an agent, and it has been submitted. And there is one more tab which is just very important tab, that is global services. It means it is when a tax agent is a default service provider, all the requests which comes into the default provider will be available under the global services. Default services, so the taxpayer selected this particular tax agents to submit this tax return. So the tax return, so where the tax agents can go and see the client details first, and then the status of the tax return. And when they click on the view tax return, we will be showing what information as the taxpayer as provider. So, and this is the information that the tax payer has provided to the tax agent. In case if the tax agent wants to revert back, and we have given options, either accept or reject. So if the tax agent is happy with this tax return, they can go and click on the accept.
Just for your information, we do not share the client's personal information before you accept. And as part of the engagement process, we share just the basic information with you before you accept the return. Once you accept it, the engagement process is inbuilt within the system, and that's when we share the details with you. The clients, the clients agree. The client has agreed to share the details with you.
So once the service request has been accepted, automatically it converts to the job. So it means that it has been accepted job. The tax agents needs to verify and then need to submit this tax return. So we have different features like not started. So they can just go and view the tax return and process engage tax return. And at the bottom, unfortunately, the down bottom, the action links are not coming. I need to get my team to verify that.
The other thing too, once you accept it, that's when it's the client's details information is pre-filled and into your GovReports account, tax agent's account, for you to review.
And whenever the tax agent has submitted the tax return by end of the day, so all the tax return, for example, a tax agent is submitting 10 tax return on the day. So at the end of the day, all the tax return will be consolidated. The service charge will be consolidated and will be paid to his bank account. So when it comes to the earnings, it shows each and every day what has been the transaction of the earnings that the tax service provider, what is the earnings given over here. So in this case, one of the payment has been done. When they click on the view, so we show that, so for which client, so when it has been paid, and for the deadline, so everything will be given on the screen. So to view their earnings from HubeX. And in case if there is any pending payment, so which will be available under the pending payment. And obviously the ratings and reviews, the tax agents can go and see their reviews from the screen. I think we covered on the tax agent side, Tiana. So there are a lot more to cover. So we just, it's time has been ended at 6. So is there any questions from the tax agents? So because we have a lot more to cover from the tax agent side. So as an initial stage, I think they should be fine. In case if there is any questions, we can cover that.
As I mentioned before, that this is, the HubeX is still a work in progress with us. There's a lot more features that we are to implement and make also the flow changes. Like I said, the taxpayer or your clients can choose from the beginning to get the pre-billing if they already have you as a tax agent. So that will go straight into your your details to get the pre-filling, and then they get the details, review that, and before they submit and make the payment and submit it to you. If they don't have a tax agent, then they can choose later on to, after they have done the enter the details. Send it. It's very echoing. Can you move? Sorry. So after they have entered all the details, review the pre-filling informations that on the tax returns. If they're happy with that, they can make the payment and then engage the tax agents. If they choose the default tax agent, that will come across, as Sandeep mentioned earlier, it will come across to everyone. The first one to enter have to accept the return. Then the details will be shared with that tax agents onto on their account, on their HubeX account, and of course on their preview into their GovReports account for them to review and lodge the return. The system is inbuilt with alerts and so forth. So if the client mentions that they've got deductions, we will request for them before they even can submit to you with all the supporting documents, so that it's basically when it comes to you, you should have little work to do or to follow up with the clients. If they mention they've got business income, then of course we will require for them to enter their details or upload their supporting documents before they can submit it to you, so that it will, as Jason mentioned earlier, it will save you time in following up with the clients. Okay, so I guess that's, like I said, we go over time. It is a big topic. It's, it depends on the complexity of the clients as well. So we hope we have covered enough. And for those that are interested in this, you can register on HubeX. Like I said, the changes we will continuously making changes to the platform, and hope to improve the as we go along. Questions?
So meanwhile, I just take an opportunity to introduce our logo, Tiana.
Okay, while we're waiting for any questions to come, we did have a few questions during the questions time, and I think I already answered that, but I'll go through again for other people online. The question was, ID verification cost to the client is that in addition to the fees or to the tax agent? It is in addition to the fees, and it is an independent service provided by Australia Post. So you know, if the clients have used the digital ID by Australia Post elsewhere, they can also bring it over here as well. So and if they use it in GovReports, they can, if they use other online services and that require ID verification, they can also reuse the certificate from them. Is the ID so another questions? So will be charged to us as a tax agents? No, okay. It is part of the service fee. It's additional to the service fee. Sorry. And then another question, the cost per client charged to us is based on the complexity of the return, and the cost per client charged to us. It's based on the complexity of the return, correct. The service fee for the GovReports tax agents is 15%. Of whatever the amount is. Oh, HubeX, sorry. I'm getting confused. Okay. Like I said, this platform enables for the C2B and later on B2B, and we hope to expand that as we go along. Again, thank you all for supporting us and your interest in this. We aim to work with e-commerce and ERP system platforms to cross-collaborate, enable users to easily get on board for the services. Once again, thank you. If you have questions, more than happy to come back to us and get on to us and just give us a call and then let us know, or send us an email to you know where to contact us. So once again, thank you. Thanks again, Jason. It doesn't look like we've got any more questions. Thanks, Isiana. Thanks everyone, and have a good night.
Thank you.